She didn't say action. She says action.
Should I be looking at the camera or looking at you?
Sorry, I thought it would just click on and float now again.
We're going to have a conversation, so I'll probably look at you most of the time.
And action.
Action. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Casey. It's been a while. Been tucked away with the coronavirus and stuck in our houses. But so what we're going to do now, with the advent of the Zoom and things like that, is we're going to do Coffee with Casey live from certain locations. Today, we are at Bazin's on Church Street, and we're lucky enough to have celebrity chef and owner of Bazin's, Patrick Bazin, here with us. And we're going to go over a lot of things. I want to really find out more about Patrick and Bazin's and the history and what they've done for the coronavirus. Now, this all follows on our theme of this month, which is the kitchens of Vienna. We have sold a lot of big houses in Vienna. They got some beautiful kitchens. We have the best photographer ever, and so we've got these great pictures of these wonderful kitchens. We put together a brochure. We send it out to 3,500 people in Vienna. Patrick was nice enough to give us a quote of what his perfect kitchen would be if he had his choice, what his perfect kitchen would be. So today we're going to interview Patrick, and we're going to go over Bazin's and things like that. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Casey.
Man, it's great to have you. I'm going to start just by saying that, I've lived in Vienna since 1962, and I think that when you opened up Bazin's on Church Street, it showed that fine dining has come to Vienna. That great atmosphere, that wonderful, 5-star feel has come to Vienna. So, and I think a lot of the affluence is because people started gathering around that. So I want to congratulate you on your success. How long have you been here?
We've been here almost 15 years. It'll be March 10th. Yeah. And my wife and I, we both worked in the area, and I was a chef in DC, and everyone said, why are you going out to Vienna to open up a restaurant? And my wife worked at the Galleria, and I said, I know there's a lot of affluent people. I know there's a lot of educated people. And I go, and there's no good restaurants out there, or not restaurants that are contemporary enough for 15 years ago.
Right. And
so we took a chance, and the first day we opened up, we had 180 people that walked. We just opened the doors, and they just walked in. And fortunately for us, they've been supporting us ever since.
Yeah. So where were you a chef before you came here?
Before I came here, I was at the Occidental in Washington, D.C., which is the second oldest restaurant in D.C. I was managing partner down there for about 10 years.
Okay.
I worked for the Oliver Carr Company, and they were tremendous people to work with.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I was in Chicago at the time. I was a corporate chef. My wife and I, we wanted to move back to this area because we started thinking about family and stuff like this. So I started interviewing, coming back to D.C., and I interviewed with the Oliver Carr Company, and I get on the phone. I get on the phone, and Julie goes, "Well, how are they? What kind of people are they?" I go, "They're really smart. They're business people, but I go, I don't know if they're restaurant people."
Right.
And my wife goes, "Look, let me tell you, you work for a lot of nice restaurant people.
Yeah.
So why don't you try working for
Let's
a business
work for
person?"
a business guy first.
And really, this is why you have partners, because it's really the best decision I ever made. Because from there, I learned how to do things the right way. I always do things the right way, but learn to, refine my
business
talents.
standpoint just as much as the food standpoint.
And that's the biggest problem with chefs. I mean, that's why you see a lot of great chefs, they go into business and they can really cook. Chefs don't go out of business because they can't cook. They go out of business because they can't manage their funds. Yeah. Manage their people, and it's a whole different dynamics.
Right. Well, how many, you've got a pretty big staff here. How many people are on your staff?
Well, presently we have a staff of 28. Before COVID, we were at 42. But I feel very good about the 28 that are with us.
Right.
The other 14 have gone away for different reasons.
Right.
So, and that's a tribute to the Vienna community who's still supporting us through this time. I used to tell my mother, all right, it's week 2, it's week 3, it's week 4. Now I don't even say it anymore.
Right.
Because
we do what we got to do.
This is a long haul.
Well, for some businesses haven't been affected. So our business hasn't been affected. And our sales are up. Even though Vienna sales are down, our sales are up 20-30%. And there's certain things that we've done like Zoom and that I think have enhanced what we do. And then there are other sectors that got it right in the kisser. And the restaurants probably were the hardest hit of anybody. I'm sure Julie's had, and you've had some sleepless nights over what are we going to do? How are we going to keep this thing going? You know, we got big bills. And I think, you know, we kind of look back and say, what came good out of this coronavirus, you know, out of what happened? And I will tell everybody that if you have not been to Church Street in Bazin, what they did was they opened up the whole back parking lot.
Yes.
Would you paint the whole parking lot?
Yeah, you know, fortunately, I have a good landlord. His name's Steve Picant, and he really, you know, he has an investment. He stepped up, and he has an investment in us as we have an investment in him. And he really helped us. And it's fortunate that he builds homes too.
Yeah.
And he knew how to paint. He knew how to put the acetate on the floor.
Right.
And
he set the whole back area up. Has that been really?
Well, Casey, I'll tell you the truth. Without that, it would be very hard to do what we do.
Right.
And the reason is you know, we have a patio. It's roughly 55 to 60 seats, and now I can come inside, and I had to cut that by half. So now I'm at 40, 45 seats.
Right.
So really, my restaurant hasn't changed. Fortunately, I still have 100 seats. As long as the people come, I still have 100 seats.
Right. But now you have an outdoor area that we didn't have before.
No, we didn't.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's, you know what? It's
every night my wife goes, well, let's go somewhere. I said, where do you want to go? Somewhere we can eat outside. It's like, it's like come on, you're killing me, man. Well, we don't have outside seating, but now we kind of do. Now we have it in a lot of different places.
Yes, and it's great. I mean, for the whole community, but for us, I mean, I would say 95% of the customer says this can never go away because it looks like a beautiful Italian piazza outside. It's covered up. It's, some people throw up tents and throw up picnic tables and say that's outdoor dining. It's not outdoor dining. Okay. Yours is an outdoor experience. So this is, you feel like you're still in, a very top-notch restaurant when you're sitting outside with the tables are very nice and the whole setup is beautiful. So, those are COVID expenses. Got it. Well, but the one question that we're all hoping for is, please, for God's sakes, who we got to talk to keep that open, because if we look at it and say, what are the benefits of the COVID? Well, if we could have, I feel like it's a Seinfeld episode. Yeah. If we could have this and have that, that would be awesome. We'd rather not have just this or that. We'd rather have this and that. So can we keep that? Well, we're working towards that. There's a couple of things that could be in the way for us, but we're talking to the right people, and hopefully, we're really featuring this is an amenity to Church Street in the town of Vienna. Right. Because normally Vienna doesn't have as many outdoor seatings as normal as we do today. Right. I used to belong over to Westwood, and they have a great patio out there. Sure. But you also have to belong and pay to go there. Right. Here, this has come out. And it would really go along with the theme of Church Street. We want to build a walking street where people are going to shops and restaurants. Right. And we want more restaurants and more shops. And we want this to be a bustling street, which it has. I've been here for 15 years, and I believe at the time I might have been the first or second restaurant on the street. This street. Before you, we had Bonarati's. Well, yeah, but that was done. No. That's this is kind of lighting up Church Street is what you guys did. Yeah. You brought in, then you this would be shops. The north end. Yeah. Yeah, you're the north end. He's southern end. But so, we're hoping that as the COVID winds down, that we can keep that. And the outdoor dining. People would rather sit outside at the Vienna Inn and have a pop outside and have the chili dogs out there than sit in the inn. So we're hoping a lot of these things will stay once all this is over. It'd be fantastic. So let's go with the theme of what this of what this is. Now, you do a lot of catering. Yes. Julie is an expert on keeping us apprised of what houses you're in, and you're doing these big catered events, whether it's Christmas stuff or Thanksgiving, whatever. Yes. Spectacular kitchens. So you've been in some of Vienna's great kitchens too. Yes, we've been very fortunate. For 14 and a half years, I always tell my customers, I tell my staff, I said, we got the best customers in the country. This is like Beverly Hills customers. These people, and the reason why they're best because everyone likes what they like, which is great. Right. And as long as we provide what we told them that we're selling, they're the happiest people in the world. Right. And they're genuine. They want to know where my staff's from. They want to know more details than just coming out. Well, because this is Vienna. This is local. Everybody likes,
this is why we're doing what we're
And
doing.
this is why
we want to know who people are.
We wanted a neighborhood place.
Yeah.
And that was our number one goal.
But you've been in some pretty spectacular houses. Are most of
Yeah.
in Vienna?
Well,
or-
no, I would say 80%, 90% are in Vienna. You know,
Wow.
the great thing in Vienna is there's a lot of new homes coming in
Yeah.
that are being built up.
Yeah.
And everyone is building these fantastic kitchens and pantries and, you know, wine storage closets.
Right.
And you know, like I always, for me, myself, I always like two coolers. I like a cooler for, you know, wine and champagne. And then I like one for beverages, you know.
Right.
Nowadays, water used to be soda and all that. Those days are gone.
Well, let's talk about what you would want if and again, I want to talk two things. One, these big, beautiful kitchens, not everybody can afford those, but I want to talk about what would the perfect kitchen be. And then I want to talk about what people can do to their kitchens or useful effectiveness they can of you know, guys, you know, that don't have
Sure.
$2 million homes.
Right.
Okay. People that don't have $2 million. So first of all, let's talk about that perfect kitchen that you said. Okay. And I know that you had said, you know, you like the big sub-zero refrigerators.
Well, the reason why I like them is just that they seem to hold the most stuff and
Biggest
a lot and biggest capacity. And a lot of times when a caterer goes to a house, especially me, I do more boutique catering.
Mhm.
I generally have to use the refrigerator sometimes
Right.
when I bring my stuff over.
Right.
And sometimes you go to a place that's a little bit smaller and it's all cramped in and there's no room. And now I'm removing stuff from their stuff to put my stuff in.
Right.
And it just, you know, it just makes it easier.
So when you think about
And it makes it easier to
size,
clean too.
So when people are building a house or think about the size of the refrigerator, they shouldn't think of their everyday use. If you're going to entertain, you want to have a big refrigerator.
I think you
Good
do
size.
because you know,
It's going to be those times.
if you have those type of houses and stuff like that, you're going to be entertaining. No one wants a house just to look at all day.
Right. Not here for hang out with Carol. I want to bring people in the house. I want to show it
I want
off.
to show off and have
Oh,
fun.
you attaboys over there.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah. Have
So-
some fun.
So you will be entertaining, and whether you want to cater or even if you're cooking yourself,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to need the room the capacities to have your pots and pans and then also the capacity to put your food someplace.
And the second thought is if you have not enough room for that big one, to have something out in the garage where you can get a good size,
Absolutely.
go for size in the garage. And a lot of times when people are picking houses, we're always looking at oversized garages. Where's the refrigerator going to go?
Right.
So if it's 20 by 20, there's no room for an outdoor refrigerator, and that's a problem. That is really a problem.
Yeah.
But we're always looking for depth when they're building their house.
That's
depth of and at least room in that and space is at a premium here in Indiana.
Absolutely.
But we still need it deep enough so we can get refrigerators in there and storage in there and things like that.
Well, now that you said that, it's the ones that do have outdoor refrigeration really comes in handy, and maybe that becomes your beverage cooler. You
Right.
know what I mean? At least you're removing stuff out of the main one, so you
Right.
have other area to go. And especially you have like birthday cakes and all these big things that
Big flat
caters.
ones that are going to come out. Yeah,
Yeah,
something's
and
got to come out of the refrigerator.
you got to be able to slide that in.
So, and you also had mentioned the ranges and the stoves, and let's talk about that for a second. So you've got gas, and a lot of people like cooking with gas, and I think you had mentioned a Wolf range or something like that.
Yeah, well, I like Wolf. The reason why I like Wolf, I've worked on the fancy dancy ones from France, and you know
Right.
other ones that people get into their homes, and really the biggest problem I find.
By the way, fancy dancy is a technical term. You can quote Patrick on fancy dancy.
But it's you know the problem, and you'll find this hard to believe, is that they don't even actually know how to use their ovens, because
Yeah.
I go there and I'm not going to just hit
Turn
buttons.
high, click on.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know how to use this myself, and I'm like, why do you have this in your $2 million house?
Right.
Because I think a house should be lived in always.
Correct.
And so I believe in America, and then also for people don't think about parts and getting it fixed and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, when you're buying American products, it's a lot easier to get your parts or whatever you need. And it's one reason here I was going to put Jade, which was a Japanese equipment, 15 years ago, but I went with Vulcan because my electrician told me, so don't get it. Because you
Can't
could
get
wait
parts.
2 weeks for a part.
Yeah.
Because you get Vulcan, I'm here the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, those kind of things, in the restaurant business, we have to be practical.
Not just name it, make it.
Can't be all fancy dancy.
Can't be all fancy dancy. So let me ask you about, so some of the newer ranges that they have the electric ranges, have the, not convection, but what do you call them when they've got immediate heat and all that. Do you find
induction
any
heat
of the,
and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah. Do you find any of the electric is up to the snuff of the gas? Which you did just say?
Me personally, I would always stay with gas,
Right.
and it's a funny. The house I live in now, I moved in 5 years ago, and so I would be 53 at that time. It was the first time since I left my parents' home that I had gas. Because my wife and I, or myself, I always live in high rises, so they always have electric. So I became pretty good on electric. But
is there that much difference?
there's a huge difference.
Okay.
I mean, because you get the instant, the instant heat right away. I have a black steel pan that sits on my stove at home, and it never comes off. So that's when I clean it. But it's always there. I turn it on, and it's hot in 30 seconds.
Turn it on, and you're good to go.
And I can crisp up anything I want.
Yeah.
I can crisp up skin on fish, or my steaks, or anything like that, or even nice vegetables with shallots and brown.
Well, let me ask you this as a steak guy.
Yeah.
Are you in the black skillet for the steaks, or are you in the outdoor grill? I know here you have to do it really in skillet, sear it, put it in the oven.
And we have a grill here too.
You do?
So yeah. But actually for myself, because my daughter and my wife don't eat a lot of meat, if any at all. Right. So I'm usually, if I have meat, I'm usually cooking the steak for myself. So I always use the skillet.
Yeah.
Because for me, if I did went outside, it would always be a charcoal grill. That's for me.
Charcoal grill. Yeah,
I like the little Weber charcoal grills. I know there's some nice ones. There's Lynx, I heard, is real nice. It gives you the infrared. Yeah. Actually, I turned two of my friends on to that. Okay. Who live in McLean and live also here.
So what is this? What's it called?
Lynx. It's LYNX.
LYNX.
But it gives you that infrared steakhouse. It's up to like 1,400. Yeah. But you really got to pay attention, know what you're doing. I cooked over my friend's house with it.
It's going to cook pretty quick.
It's going to cook quick. You don't want to start off with the prime meat. So maybe on the first time.
Come back.
Yeah. You got to stay right over it. And but I showed him how to do it, and we got a nice, beautiful char. He thought I was actually burning it, and I said, we got it going.
I like the skillet. I mean, I'm a barbecue guy.
The skillet for me is, especially that black steel.
Money, man.
It is.
Yeah.
And if you want to cook a little hamburger,
sear three, stick it in, and see in about 6 minutes.
You can cook a hamburger and your onions on the sides.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I don't want to get into too much, but we do a skillet. You put a lot of butter in there. You're constantly.
Actually, with the black steel, you use minimal oil.
Okay.
I usually use butter as a finishing.
Right.
Sometimes you can brown up. You get the brown butter parts. That can be a little bitter. But I use extra virgin olive oil on everything. Some people say just use it as finishing. But let me tell you, olive oil is very expensive, I know, but you have it.
Right.
Use it for everything.
Not the vegetable oil, just for the.
Yeah, it's 100% better for you.
Right. If you're gonna splurge on the olive oil.
And splurge on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because we're always giving. Right. We're always giving to everybody.
That's what you're saying. Well, Julie, your daughter don't need meat. It's like, what does that mean to us?
I know.
We're steakhouse, man.
I know.
So let's go back in the kitchen real quick. Other things when they're doing it. So definitely gas, not the electric. And then, a lot of times when you're entertaining too, day to day, you only need one dishwasher. But when you're entertaining, you need to be flying things in and out of there, right? So you need two dishwashers if you're really going to be in there.
Actually, I would say nowadays the 70% of the house I go into have two dishwashers.
Is that right?
Yeah. Because again, they're buying a house anticipating entertaining too, obviously. And so they think about what they want to put in, make sure it's easy as possible for them or for a caterer that's coming in. Because it's a great thing again about this customer. I'll go back to the customers. I go on all these people's houses and they're all big and grand and everything, but the warmth and generosity is really what makes this area. You know what I mean? I grew up in New Jersey and a little bit
I know. I was
not as
New York Yankee.
It's not as nice. Perfect example is, in New Jersey, and I saw my mother who lives up there. She's 92, and a brother and sister. We're at 60% business here at Bazin's.
Right.
But we're still surviving. We're still kicking. Yeah. But I've talked to friends of mine up in New Jersey and New York area. They're down to 10, 20, 15%. And, it's just like. And then I look at Julie. I said, well, we should be thankful where we're at.
Let's just get through this.
Yeah, and that's our whole goal right now. because we just want to get through the other side. Because we you got to believe in life, you got to believe in humanity, and I think it's going to come back better than it ever has. I think people are going to have been cooped up for a long time, and they're going to continue to be cooped up for a long time. So when the time to go out to restaurants and go out to Tyson's Corner Mall and start having entertaining.
And the good news, Patrick, is that most people aren't coming out because of COVID. You know, it's not because they're in a recession or a depression too. I always say, you know, people go, how's the real estate market? I said, that's pretty simple. If the builders are eating at the Vienna Inn, we're in a bad market. If they're eating at Bazin, we're doing good. So real simple. Go to Bazin's. You see any builders in there? Life's good, you know. But if you see Dennis Rice and Seekis and all these guys having chili dogs,
I've had lunches
you
where
might have
there's
problems.
6 or 8 of them all here at the same time. They're all looking at each other.
You know, it's good market. So the money is there, and I think the business is good for most people, and it's just a function of getting everybody out of the house and back. So I agree with you that it comes back bigger and stronger than it was before. I think the economy is fine right here. We're not taking bolo punches, even though, you know, our restaurants are getting crushed, and you know some other businesses, retail is obviously sort of too. But I think, you know, money is still there, the wealth is still here. People want to get out of the house. It's just a matter of they're pretty concerned right now over. And just so everybody knows, we don't want to get any tweets or Facebook or anything like that. We are 6 foot 2 inches apart from each other. We don't hear any of that stuff. We don't need to wear masks. We're in good shape. So anyways, I wanted to, did you have anything, let me ask you one thing about catering.
Yes.
That's probably taken a bigger hit because people aren't, I mean, we came in and had a big deal when Michelle got married over here. And I think that's the first time I've seen my family.
Yeah, it was a Monday night.
In 6 months. And Julie,
I was here.
I haven't seen you, and she's my right hand. I haven't seen my right hand in, I don't know, 6, 7 months.
Yeah.
So are you getting anybody coming back, any families coming back,
absolutely.
or parties coming back, or catering coming back?
I would say, see, being a smaller boutique kind of catering, it's really worthless. The bigger caterers that do 100 plus 200, 300 people, they're having a hard time, obviously.
Right.
But I would say in the last 2-3 weeks, I've done like 6-7 catering parties.
Oh, good. So and you've got Bazin's next door.
Bazin's next door, yes. And you know, I have, over the last 6 months, I probably had 3 or 4 parties in there, but they're starting to come in. You know, they're starting actually to book for December and October and November because people believe and they want it. They're going to still need to entertain. You got the holiday season, and
So what's your safety protocol what are the safety things that you've had to do to your restaurants to just make it a safer?
Well, one thing we've done that's probably the most important is decrease the size of the restaurant. We have sanitizer stations all over the restaurant that help out. We do have signs that, you know, you have to come in with a mask into the restaurant to sit down, not to sit down and have dinner, but to come in before you sit down, because it's important that we keep our staff healthy too. And, and they wear masks all the time. And then, you know, having, believe it or not, I bought the little wipes they use for when you go to a rib place and use them on your hands. So I have a sanitizer cloth right there on it, so that, you know, no one's feeling uptight. If they do feel uptight, do something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't have to look around where the sanitizer stations are. And
what's the protocol when your waiter comes to your table? I mean, should we go like this? Should we put our masks on when they're taking our order?
It's funny. I went out to these and here at our restaurant, we don't ask you to put that on. The waiter, he stands. He's not hovering over you.
Right. They do come back, and then they put your tray out. Well, we have to take our stuff off the tray, I guess.
But then I went to Washington in the DC on Saturday, or not Saturday, but during on Sunday night, and they actually asked us to put our mask on while you were talking to the waiter.
Right.
So you know, there's different protocols going on in different areas and stuff. I think just being, you know, making sure that we're conscious, and you know, we're in different times where our customers have to be just a little bit more conscious. I know this is, you know, and I tell everybody this is entertainment. what that's what the restaurant business.
Right.
People, especially in a town like in Bannon, because this is not a expense account area. This is real money. This is people working, making hard
Yeah,
money.
you put your own credit card down.
That's
not
right.
somebody's credit card.
In DC, where I worked for 25 years,
Expensive.
yeah, expense
Big
everything. So, we really take that in consideration. Whatever we're doing.
Because I noticed that when we're here, the staff stays far back away from us, and the tray comes out and take things off of it. So we're really not close enough. But I just didn't know what the protocol was. Whether they feel more comfortable when you put a mask on while they're taking our order, because we don't want to violate protocol, or we don't want put anybody in jeopardy or anything like that. All right, I want to close with this. I want to ask you and your beautiful wife, Julie, over there, who I saw walk in the door, give me some of your top picks on restaurants, both here, around the area, and so when you're going out, when you and Julie are saying, let's go out, let's go someplace
You know what? It doesn't have to be, the first time we went out, I'll tell you where, I'll give you a reason. We went to Uncle Julio's Rio Grande in Arlington.
Okay.
And the reason why we went there, it's on Fairfax Drive. My wife and I, we lived above the metro station.
Sure.
We lived there for 8 years. My daughter was born there. And so the first 3 years we lived down there. And we used to go to Rio all the time because my daughter loved, they don't have it now. I'm a little disappointed, but they had all this taxidermy and Christmas lights. Yeah. And it was, became a thing where it distracted my daughter so we could get some
something to eat around here.
Yeah, get some food. And but anyways, we had a really great time. We sat on the patio out there. Recently we just went out to Sane Asylum, which is over in Union Market in DC, which is a very contemporary type steakhouse type restaurant. Okay. Really good vegetables and starches.
And what's it called?
St. Anselm.
Write that down.
In Union Market.
When this guy starts spitting out restaurants, write that
down.
No,
that's very good.
Yeah.
But my wife and I always went down to DC all the time for dinner because we always want to see what was going on, especially on Sunday and Monday nights. But I got a good friend, Jonathan Crim, over at Clarity. He does a really good job. He's working really hard. His staff's working hard. He's, we're all trying to figure out, what's the best method to do anything. And John's great. He has like 6 things going. I don't know how he has them all going, but he has a team that obviously can support it, which is the key. Right. And he's doing a really good job. And
it's nice to see. We were over there the other night, and we sat there for I don't know, it was a half hour, and so we had a reservation. We're sitting there for a half hour. We're not going to get seated, so we left. I think we went to Bon Riders or something. But it's nice to see that it's packed and you can't get in,
right?
Because when you go in and you see two couples, we're not going to be here very long, because that's not enough to support the quality that we're hoping to have. So yeah, to be honest with you, I got to admit, I'm like, John, you're killing me, man. But in all in all, that's a great sign.
Yeah.
You can't fit us in, fun. Okay, fun. I'll go somewhere else. But it's like, whew, everybody's back. Looks like we're going to keep our restaurants.
We had that issue on last Friday night. We were sold out, fortunately. And so I said earlier, maybe we have 18 to 20 tables at any given time. So we do 2 seating. So that's 36 tables. Well, the weather was really nice last Friday, and people who we figured would stay 2 hours and 15 minutes now stay 3 hours. Now all of a sudden the second seating was getting backed up. Right. And people were getting agitated.
Right.
And we fortunately I have a great wife who makes sure that being accommodating with a little prosecco, a little hors d'oeuvre, little food, something to take the anger away. Sure. We know we're all hungry or thirsty or whatever. Yeah, to take the edge.
Then they get hangry.
Relax.
It's like, Julie, I love you.
Yeah.
Give me the dang table.
Yeah.
Point to the people that are close to leaving. I'll take care of this.
We wanted to the relax them a little bit, and everyone did relax. They just because we are who we are, and we're all very we all work very hard. We can be aggressive at times. Sometimes you go out and you're still in that mode, even though when you go out to dinner, you should be relaxed. You're with people you love. And I went over the table and I said, look, here's this, here's that. And I said, really, you got 4 great couples here. Enjoy yourselves, man. You're here. There's no more nights. And
you're not home. You're not a mask on. Come on, loosen up a little bit.
And it worked out great. They were very happy when they left. So it's those kind of things, and I understand.
Isn't it crazy? Sometimes you're sitting here going, we don't have enough business. And I got too much business. It's like, hey man, I'm just gonna relax and enjoy it. Have a cocktail.
But I said the same thing you said. I go, don't you think I thought people would be happy if they had to wait 15, 20 minutes for a table. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, you know.
Well, you're never happy because you're like hungry. You're
Well,
like,
my motto is I rather, even if I have to wait 15, 20 minutes before you can go into a bar and have a drink, which made it much easier. Yeah. But now you can't, so I understand. But I much rather wait half an hour than walk into a restaurant with 2 tables. Yeah. Because I want to make sure the key is you want to go to busy restaurants because you want the food moving. It's the key.
All right, so give me one other great restaurant you like around this thing.
Well, I'm going to give you.
Without going to DC,
you know,
I can't get my wife across that river.
I'm going to give you 2 things where, you know, for pizza that we use. You know, I grew up in New Jersey, and pizza was a huge deal for me. And I think the best pizza is Jersey, not New York. Because I think the pizza's a little crisper, a little better.
Here we go, the old Jersey, New York pizza.
But I got
New York right here.
I'm sorry.
You and Pat can take it outside or not.
Yeah.
All right. So,
but I
where's their Jersey pizza?
My friend Marty, who runs Church Street Pizza over here, right on our block.
Yeah.
He does a beautiful thin crust pizza. It's never too thick, and that's what I said when I talked to him at the very beginning. I said, just keep it thin, so it gets crispy. And the Baker's Pride ovens. And something that and he does a really good job, and he's been consistent now. I think they've been open for almost 10 years.
Right. They're also Lombardi. So it's Church Street Pizza and Lombardi's delivers.
Yes. And a new place that just opened up in Jam and Java that I like a lot personally because I'm celiac, so I can't have pizza anymore. So I look for gluten-free pizzas, and over at Union Pie, over in Jam and Java, they just put it in about 2 or 3 months ago. Yeah. And they do a really nice gluten-free pizza. I get the white pizza, and for me, with arugula. And
so what do they do over in Jam and Java? Are they still going to play music?
No, they have music. It's just it's an addition to.
It's an addition to. So they put in a pizza place. They can make some money.
Because they're adapting too. Because they're not doing music, you know, live concerts and live shows they used to do all the time. Or if they are, they're much smaller. Right. But they're creative over there. They have a music school. So you know, this is what we all have to do. We're doing stuff. We're doing stuff we never thought we'd be doing.
Hey man,
I'm sorry, never done it.
Adapt or die. You know what I mean? Dying's not an option. So what do we got to do?
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it really is funny. I see Julie all the time. We're together. You know, running around. And now, you know, you don't do that. You do things through Zoom, and you do things, you know, and you do it remotely, and we're all pretty happy, right? Things are going pretty good. Yes. So, all right.
And one other thing. I do go to Virginian for breakfast.
I love Virginia. I'm gonna settle
that's my
time.
girl. I do go over there for breakfast.
I want to hear you about this pancake. Best pancakes are in the Virginian. I've been eating there since I was 8 years old. That was a long time ago. But the pancakes at Virginian are awesome.
You know the reason why I go? Potatoes.
The potatoes.
They're hash browns, potatoes. They're the best.
Yeah.
I mean, because anyone can do some fried eggs, but you have those potatoes with fried eggs.
Right? You got to get, if you're going to go to Virginia, I'm going to give you a little tip, okay? You got to get there before 9 o'clock. If you get there after 9 o'clock, kids are there. So then you got mommy, then you got that, and then you're like, oh my God, that's killing me. So get there at 8 o'clock, get there before the kids show up, have your pancakes or your fried potatoes and all that other good stuff. But here I was looking for, you know, these fabulous restaurants somewhere. And what do I get? The Virginian and Lombardi's Pizza. Thanks, Patrick. You're killing me, man.
No.
And Rio.
Well, I think you gotta. These are the restaurants. I told you the restaurants that I'm going to now.
It is funny.
And
it is so funny, and that's why I think this is good. People get to know you. But you would think that the celebrity chef is off whining and dining, and he's eating the Virginian.
Yeah.
And he's eating Lombardi's Pizza. Yeah. You know, and he's a Jersey guy, and he's promoting Jersey. You know.
Absolutely.
Church Street.
Well, I think those are the restaurants that are the core of the town.
Yeah.
It's great to have fancy restaurants and stuff, but the ones that are the restaurants that people can afford on a daily basis every day.
Right.
Which we try to do here at our restaurant. You have to figure out how to do that if you want to come here every day. You can order appetizers or entrees or dessert, have a glass of wine and appetizer. You can do so many things. You know?
Right.
But I think you know, I really want to, with the local restaurants, and they all tried and true. They all do something very well, and they're a big part of it.
And they all give back to the community. Don't forget that they give back the most to the community.
They do. I mean, you know, I don't know. I probably have, you know, a lot of money when you go into the inn and say, hey, send 150 chili dogs over here, send 100 chili dogs over there. We go to Anita's and send breakfast burritos to a lot of different places. So
I would say in the normal times, we donate to local charities anywhere from 20 to 30,000. And that's schools, schools and all the other events that come into play.
If you haven't been to a Bazin's catered party, you need to book a Bazin's catered. Because I'm just going to tell you that when we do that, like we did it for an open house, and Julie came, some of the most fabulous food I've ever seen. Too much food, couldn't eat all that food, didn't have enough people eat all that food, but it was awesome. And I know that we have a bunch of babies coming, so we'll be booking more. But if you book, what did I have? I had a baby shower. If you book a baby shower, you better put a cap on the mimosas Julie's gonna be handing out. So I'm looking at it. It's like 117 mimosas on a bunch of
you're
baby parties.
You're telling a dirty little
Killing me,
secret right
man.
here.
Julie, the next time I book baby shower over there, there's a cap.
No
And I don't care what you show because I'm the one that's paying and tipping. Put a cap on it.
Why don't we just say 2 cases of Prosecco and we'll just go from there?
If you guys are looking, if you're looking for a great place to have dinner, cater, get something brought out to your house, the virus is dying down. Let's loosen up a little bit. Great safety protocol here. So go to one of your great Vienna restaurants. Support local. No need to go to Fairfax. You can support local. We got plenty of great places right here. Come have a nice night out at Bazin. Sit outside. If you haven't been here, you've got to be here. It is one of, to me, I would say, if, Carol's like, okay, well, where's the best place you can go and have some dinner? We like to go to the bar at Bonarati's. It's a nice little bar to have some stuff. But the backyard here at Bazin is awesome. I mean, you guys did a magnificent job. And I know, Julie, that you're running around trying to, it's raining, and these are my best tables. These are $1,200 tables, and I know
That's how we started.
really crazy. But, we will look back on this someday and laugh, I hope. And I hope we still will have that backyard, because I think that's the best place to eat in Vienna right now, is in the backyard of Bazin. So
Can I give one little shout out to
Sure.
Maryfield Gardens, Kevin
Sure.
over in Maryfield.
Absolutely.
They did a
Kevin Warhurst over at Merrifield Gardens.
yes, and it was funny when they said we can open up a patio. They gave us 10 days basically.
Yeah.
Which usually most times would take 3 to 4 months, 6 months planning.
Right.
But we had 10 days to figure it out between my landlord, between Kevin, between us, between staffing and all that. And I'm telling you, Kevin and his team came over in one day. They came in there and they made my back. They added the icing to the cake, because we already did all the painting and all the putting the lattice work. But when Kevin came in and started dropping all the plants and the arrangements of everything, it really,
Vienna boy.
he brought it all came together.
It's a Vienna guy, man. Come
There you
on,
go.
coach him at
There you
Vienna BYI football. You guys are all Vienna. Just pick up the phone and call Maryfield Gardens. Devin will take care of it.
Yes.
All right. Well, Patrick, I really appreciate it. I'd shake your hand and hug you. Maybe give you a kiss if there wasn't a virus around, but I'm going to stay away from that.
All right.
You've been watching Coffee with Casey. Next month, we may do it from Cafe Amore. We don't know where we're going, but we're definitely going mobile. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week. We're coming here live from Bazin's on Church Street. Thanks.